Keith Urban showed up looking so different that security almost did not let him through. And when fans finally recognized him, they could not stop for 20 years. Keith Urban was that guy you could spot from a mile away. The country music star with the friendly smile, the trademark guitar, and that comfortable look that never really changed. He was reliable, predictable, safe. You knew exactly what you were getting with Keith Urban. Then something happened in 2025 that nobody saw coming. Keith walked onto a red carpet looking so completely transformed that people literally didn't recognize him at first. Photographers had to do double takes. Fans scrolled past his photos on social media thinking it was some random model or actor. When the truth finally clicked that this was actually Keith Urban, the internet exploded with shock, confusion, and a million questions about what possibly could have happened to cause such a dramatic change. Let's talk about what everyone noticed immediately, because it was impossible to miss. Keith Urban's body transformed in a way that seems almost impossible for someone his age. He's 57 years old, an age when most people are settling into a softer, more comfortable physique. But Keith did the exact opposite. He got ripped, absolutely shredded, with visible muscle definition that would make guys half his age jealous. His arms, now fully covered in tattoo sleeves, showed off serious biceps and definition. His chest, shoulders, and back all looked like he'd been training with professional bodybuilders. When photos from the CMA Awards hit social media, fans couldn't believe their eyes. The weight loss alone was shocking enough. Keith dropped about 10 pounds in just a few months, but it wasn't the kind of gradual, healthy weight loss most people experience. This was rapid, dramatic transformation that suggested intense dedication and probably some serious professional help. His body fat percentage looked incredibly low, the kind of lean physique that requires strict dieting and constant exercise. People started comparing before and after photos, and the difference was absolutely staggering. The Keith from just 1 year earlier looked like a completely different person, softer and more casual. This new version looked like he'd been preparing for an action movie role. But here's what made it even more unrecognizable. Keith didn't just get fit, he completely changed his entire appearance from head to toe. His hair, which he'd worn in a pretty standard, safe style for decades, suddenly had this edgy, modern texture. It looked messy but intentionally styled, with movement and volume that suggested expensive products and regular salon visits. The color even looked different, richer and more vibrant, making people wonder if he'd started using special treatments to maintain that youthful appearance. His clothes underwent an equally dramatic transformation. Gone were the comfortable, predictable outfits that screamed middle-aged country star. In their place came designer leather jackets, perfectly fitted jeans that showed off his new physique, bold patterns, and accessories that looked straight out of a fashion magazine. Keith hired an entirely new styling team, people who understood cutting-edge trends and knew how to make a celebrity look current without trying too hard. Every outfit he wore made a statement. Every appearance showed someone who'd clearly invested serious money and effort into completely overhauling his image. Keith's face looked different too, and that's where things got really interesting. His skin appeared tighter, smoother, more youthful. The lines and wrinkles that naturally come with age seemed diminished. His jawline looked sharper and more defined. People started whispering about possible cosmetic procedures, Botox, fillers, maybe even surgical work. Nobody could say for sure what he'd done, if anything, but the overall effect was undeniable. Keith Urban looked at least 10 years younger than his actual age, maybe more. Combined with the body transformation and style changes, he'd become almost unrecognizable compared to the man fans had known for 2 decades. The tattoo sleeves became his new signature look. Keith had some tattoos before, but nothing like this. These were full, elaborate sleeve designs covering both arms. Professional artwork that clearly cost thousands of dollars and required multiple sessions to complete. He showed them off constantly, wearing sleeveless shirts and fitted tees that put the ink and muscles on full display. For a country music star who'd always maintained a pretty clean-cut image, the heavy tattoos represented a massive departure that signaled something deeper was happening. Then fans started noticing changes beyond just his appearance. Keith's entire energy seemed different. The way he carried himself, the way he talked in interviews, even his facial expressions had transformed. He seemed more confident, almost cocky in a way he never was before. Some people found it attractive and inspiring. Others thought it seemed forced, like he was trying too hard to project this new image of himself. Either way, it was clear that Keith wasn't just changing how he looked. He was changing who he was as a person. Social media went absolutely wild trying to figure out what caused such a dramatic transformation. Theories flew around constantly. Some people thought Keith was going through a midlife crisis, that classic moment when men hit their 50s and panic about aging. Others wondered if he'd gotten sick or had some health scare that motivated him to get in the best shape of his life. Some fans speculated about relationship problems, suggesting that maybe things with Nicole Kidman weren't as perfect as they seemed and Keith was preparing for single life. That last theory turned out to be right on the money. Just months after Keith's shocking physical transformation became public, he and Nicole Kidman announced their separation after 19 years of marriage. Suddenly, everything made perfect sense. The extreme body makeover, the complete style overhaul, the new confident energy, all of it connected to the end of his marriage. Keith was doing what countless people do after divorce, reinventing himself, proving he's still attractive and desirable, reclaiming his identity outside of the relationship. But the transformation went even deeper than anyone realized. Keith didn't just change his appearance. He fired 3 longtime band members who'd been with him for decades. Jerry Flowers, his lead guitarist and band leader for over 25 years, got cut from the lineup. So did Grammy-nominated drummer Terrence Clark and multi-instrumentalist Nathan Barlow. These weren't just employees. These were core members of the Keith Urban experience. Guys who helped create his signature sound and performed with him through all his biggest moments. The band firings shocked the country music community almost as much as Keith's physical transformation. People couldn't understand why someone would throw away that kind of history and chemistry. Keith's explanation was that he needed fresh energy and wanted to explore new musical directions. He announced his High and Alive World Tour starting in May 2025 with completely new musicians, making it clear he was starting fresh in every possible way. Fans were speechless, literally speechless. The combination of the dramatic physical transformation, the divorce from Nicole Kidman, and the firing of beloved band members created this perfect storm of shock that left people not knowing what to think or feel. Some fans supported Keith's choices, admiring his courage to reinvent himself so completely. But critics argued the opposite, saying Keith's transformation looked exactly like a textbook midlife crisis. The muscle obsession, the tattoos, the trendy clothes, the younger skewing style, all classic signs of a man desperately fighting against aging and mortality. They suggested Keith was trying to recapture youth instead of aging gracefully, and that the extreme nature of his changes revealed deep insecurity rather than genuine confidence. The timing of everything intensified the shock factor. Keith's transformation didn't happen gradually over years. It exploded into public view over just a few months, making it impossible to ignore or dismiss. One month he looked basically the same as always, the next month he was unrecognizable. That rapid, dramatic change suggested something major happened in his life that triggered this need to completely reinvent himself. His upcoming tour became the focal point for all the speculation and judgment. Fans buying tickets knew they'd be seeing something completely different from any previous Keith Urban show. New band, new look, new energy, everything transformed. Some people were excited about that prospect, curious to see if Keith could pull off this reinvention successfully. Others bought tickets specifically to judge whether the changes were good or bad, to see if this new version of Keith Urban could deliver the same magic as the old one. The tour announcement itself reflected Keith's transformation. Instead of the traditional country imagery and safe promotional materials, everything looked edgy and modern. Photos showed Keith's new physique, his tattoos, his bold style. The marketing clearly targeted a younger, hipper audience, suggesting Keith was trying to expand beyond his traditional country music fanbase. Whether that strategy would work remained to be seen. Meanwhile, Keith's social media presence reflected his new image. His Instagram and other platforms showcased workout clips, fashion shots, behind-the-scenes rehearsal footage with his new band. Everything reinforced this message of transformation and fresh starts. Comments on his posts were wildly mixed. Supporters posted fire emojis and encouraging messages. Critics questioned his choices and expressed disappointment. Through it all, Keith seemed unbothered, confident in his decisions regardless of public opinion. The divorce from Nicole added layers of complexity to how people viewed Keith's transformation. Some fans felt sympathetic, understanding that ending a 19-year marriage would naturally trigger major life changes. Others felt angry on Nicole's behalf, viewing Keith's transformation as selfish behavior that prioritized his own desires over his family's needs. The lack of detailed information about why the marriage ended left room for endless speculation and different interpretations. What made Keith's transformation truly leave fans speechless wasn't just one element, it was the totality of it all. The dramatic physical changes combined with major life upheaval, professional shakeups, and a complete personality shift created this overwhelming sense that Keith Urban had become someone entirely different. Fans felt like they'd lost the artist they knew and loved, replaced by this new version they didn't recognize or necessarily want. As May 2025 approached and tour dates got closer, anticipation built to see whether Keith's reinvention would succeed or fail. Would the new band capture the magic of the old one? Would Keith's new songs connect with audiences? Would his transformed appearance and energy translate into compelling performances? Or would the whole thing feel hollow, a desperate attempt to stay relevant that ultimately fell flat? Subscribe right now to see if Keith Urban's shocking transformation leads to his biggest success or his most spectacular failure.